Hey guys, this is Joshua Hathaway with the Brotherhood Community. Just wanted to get on here and give you a little bit of an origin story for Authentic Dating Secrets, which is our answer to the pickup artistry world. It's our way of really reaching out to men and supporting men in showing up to have the kind of sex and relationships that they really want authentically, without manipulation, without any bullshit, right? Just the real deal. And I want to share my origin story with you for these secrets that came through as I have been doing all kinds of experiments in relationship over the years. And the origin story starts really with my own backstory, which is that despite the fact that I'm tall, fairly good looking, fit guy with nice hair, chicks dig that, I spent a lot of my life feeling one down with women. I spent a lot of my life really questioning my own value, wondering, like, am I good enough for this woman? And for that reason, I really limited the quality and caliber of women that I could be with. And so I was so terrified of being rejected. I was so terrified of having a woman sort of not want me that I really just waited for women to approach me or show obvious interest in me before I could engage romantically with them. And the result of that, obviously, was that I wasn't dating the caliber of women that I really, really deeply desired. And as a result of that, I was in relationships that were relatively unsatisfying, one after another. And I've been with some beautiful women, man. I was with beautiful women despite that. But I always knew there was something more available to me if I could really just have the courage to claim what I wanted. But before I found that courage, and I have, I ended up in a 12-year-long relationship with a woman who was, from the beginning, it was a compromise. I couldn't leave the relationship for fear of making her feel bad, wasn't sure if I could do better. We had a child together. There was a lot of reasons why we stayed together, and they weren't all the right reasons, but we ended up doing good by each other in many ways, raising a beautiful son who's now 17 years old. But eventually, relationships that are based on compromise fall apart or they up-level, and ours fell apart. And I just remember two distinct things when I was coming out of 12 years of being with one woman. The first one was, oh my God, I can't wait to be with other women and have all these cool experiences. Number two was, I have no idea how to date or how even to make that happen, because I haven't dated ever. And now there's these things called digital apps for this. What is that? So I was totally excited and totally overwhelmed at the same time. But I knew what I wanted. What I wanted to explore was open and polyamorous relationship dynamics. Relationships that are non-monogamous, but everybody's all above board. There's no lying, there's no cheating, there's no sort of manipulation involved. Everybody's authentically in for that from the beginning. So I did a pretty good job of experimenting for a few years. I was in some monogamous relationships. I was in some polyamorous or open relationships. And I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot. I made a ton of mistakes. I fucked up a lot. I learned a lot about communication along the way. And about 4 years ago, I got together with my partner. And we were in a committed, open relationship. So there were parts of our relationship that were monogamous. So we would go into phases of monogamy, but we were also in an open relationship for a lot of our relationship. And it was toward the end of that relationship with an incredible, empowered, beautiful, strong, talented woman that I started realizing that these principles that I had been tracking and sort of cultivating throughout my journey were starting to sort of coalesce into something really tangible and real, something I could articulate, but something that I really wanted to test out before I tried to articulate them fully and transmit them to anybody else. And so in the early summer of 2018, my partner and I reopened our relationship, and I just went full throttle with what is now the pillars of Authentic Dating Secrets. I started showing up like this in all of my relationships, and I had what is truly enviable in terms of my romantic, sexual, and relationship life. I had more opportunity than many men dream of. I think there's a certain way of gauging how fully a man is showing up for women by the caliber of women he gets to say no to. And I was saying no to some fucking hot, smart, sexy, beautiful women, right? And so what I was also doing was cultivating these relationships. And I was embodying these principles in a way that just drove women wild. They just wanted to be around me. I had one just super hottie who was literally just one of my lovers, who was so enamored with the way I showed up and wanted so badly for her friends to experience a fucking king like me that she was going around inviting her friends into threesomes with us. She was looking for women to bring into our bed because it was so hot, and she just wanted her friends to feel what it was like to be with a king. Okay? That's how women are. There's a lot of very generous women in the world, and women who really do want to have just the kind of relationship that you want to have. Whatever you want, brother, there's a woman out there who wants that, and she's right at your level. No doubt about it. Once you really start owning your value and claiming what you fucking want, and understand that there are women out there who want that too, it opens up so wide and so juicy and so wet, I'm telling you. So one of the other experiments that I did while I was running with all of these different lovers was that I decided I was going to choose the most attractive woman in my world. The most attractive. I'm very active on social media. There are a lot of beautiful women that I'm around in social media. And I knew that I wanted to pick the most attractive woman, the hottest woman that I could find, just to, and build a relationship with her. So that's exactly what I did. At a certain point in the summertime, we became lovers. And so I started really getting pretty hot and heavy with this goddess, this mind-blowingly beautiful in every dimension of her being goddess. And I fell in love. For the first time in my long-term committed open relationship, I fell in love, deeply in love with somebody outside of my primary partnership. And that was a challenge for both me and my partner. That was something new, but we were committed to saying yes, to the true yes of each other. And what my true yes became, as I started hating being divided between these two women, all of my other lovers sort of fell by the wayside, and it really came down to my primary partner and this other woman, as I asked both of them if they'd be willing to experiment with being in a triad with me, just the three of us in an intimate relationship under one roof together. And so for months, I had the pleasure of waking up every morning to this, and to going to bed every night to this, to two of the most beautiful women I've ever known, and myself in some of the sexiest, most outrageous, most honestly deeply healing sexual and romantic and intimate experiences of my life. So if you've never had the pleasure of bearing witness to two women falling in love with each other, then I wish you the most. I wish you the best of luck in having that. It's a true gift and an honor to see. And there was enough attraction for women in each of them that they were willing to do that. So we had a deep, rich, multi-month experiment in being in an intimate triad. And through that process, we discovered that there was some difference in what we were wanting to create. And my current partner and I were both wanting a deeply committed monogamy. We were kind of done with having all these feelers out in the world and looking around for other lovers. We really wanted to just really focus on what we had. Whereas my former partner really wanted to remain open and play the field. And so she did that. And now I'm in the most exquisite, monogamous, deeply chosen, sexual, romantic, committed relationship of my life. And I have that because I was able to embody these principles and continue to show up and ask for exactly what I wanted again and again through this process. So as I was realizing oh my God, these principles fucking work. I've tested them out, dude. I ran the tests. So we started transmitting these principles to other men and getting to watch the way that they played out in their lives. And so now I can tell you with the utmost confidence that I promise you, no matter where you're starting out on your journey, that you are going to up level in ways that it's hard to imagine if you really commit yourself to embodying the principles of authentic dating, and these very fundamental principles that we're going to be teaching. And you're going to get a lot out of the webinar if you haven't already watched it. I hope you have. If you haven't yet, check it out. But the fact is that none of us can do this alone. That's not how it was meant to be ever. We're supposed to do this together as a community. And so if you want more deeply satisfying sex, incredible intimacy with women, with either a single or multiple partners, then you have nothing to lose by using the link in this email and making an appointment with myself or Robert to spend a half hour talking about your love life, what you want it to look like, and how you're going to get there. And I promise you that if we think one of our programs is a fit for you, then we're going to encourage you to check it out. And there's going to be zero pressure at all, because I know the value of what I have to offer. And I promise you many men know the value of what I have to offer now. And I also understand that it can feel overwhelming if you've lost hope at any point along the way and you feel like you're just like broken, that something's wrong with you, that you can't have it. I promise you, I was there too, man. But no matter where you're starting out, I promise you that what is possible will defy your imagination. And the whole path from where you are to where you really want to be, like, there's a lot of choices and a lot of decisions and a lot of work to get to where you want to be. I'm not going to lie. It's not going to fall into your fucking lap. But there's just one thing you have to do at a time. There's just the one next decision that you have to make. There's one next move. And your one next move right now is to click the link and set up a 30-minute appointment with myself or with Robert so we can talk about your love life and get it online. And it's a very simple and very risk-free thing to do. So I hope that you're going to do it. I hope you'll watch the Authentic Dating Secrets webinar from start to finish if you haven't, because there's so much fucking valuable information in there. And I hope to see you very soon on my calendar. And I'll let Robert tell his own story, but that's mine. And that's the origin story of Authentic Dating Secrets as I tell it. I hope you're well. Talk to you soon.